Hi, it's time for yet another flavor of the week craft that I will only do once and get bored of it. Cross stitching. I don't even remember how I got this idea, but I wanted to redo my painted bookmarks as cross-stitched. What? What did you expect? I told you I'm obsessed with bookmarks. Anyway, what I did was I redid the cuts as pixel art, adjusted colors so that most of them are just flat. Then I put it in an online site that converts pictures into a pattern. Why did I need to do all that if I already had the pic in pixel form? Well, these patterns have grids, as well as they show me where the middle is, so it's much easier to work. And they also have these little symbols that are different for each color. And now none of these programs were perfect, and all of them did something weird with the colors. Like they would change the white to gray and generally recommend me much more muted colors. And even here, the grays on the cut aren't perfect. Like this dark one is purple for some reason. And also this side got cut, but that's my fault. I should have just dropped this since it's all white and that would fit. Hi, welcome to my channel where we do dumb things every episode. Did you subscribe yet? Anyway, this site I used Floss was the best, and for a free online site it was really good and let me do a lot that the other sites didn't. Next, let's talk about the black borders. I think I'll leave the outside ones like this since Art Nouveau has rather thick borders, but things like the leaves or the petals, I think I'll just embroider in between the stitches. Otherwise it would be too thick and just look bad. And my canvas is really tiny. And speaking of, I will be using this Aida cloth. It's 22 count, which means it has 22 holes per inch. So the bookmarks will be about 2 3/4 by 7 3/4 inches or 7 by 19.5 centimeters. A little big, but I've seen bigger bookmarks too. And these I cut bigger because I will fold them and probably glue them on some cardstock. I don't know yet, but we'll get there when we'll get there. As for the thread, I have mostly the DMC and some Encore embroidery floss or mulling, and these are all of the colors that I own, so we will pick a few for this project in a moment. Needles. I don't have embroidery needles small enough, so regular sharp needles will have to do. I really hope this works. I don't see why it wouldn't, but I don't know. Okay, I believe this is all that I will need, so let's start. Okay, colors picked. I couldn't decide on this red because I think this one is closer to the original, but then this one looks better with these greens, so I think I will use this one. I think I will start from the middle. It seems like it will be the easiest to go from middle out. Then, for example, starting from a corner, but should I use 2 or 3 strands? Let's see. I decided to use 2 strands. I think it looks better. I'm also not worried about knots right now because if I make an X, that should hold it in place, and then I will probably keep going over with the thread, and then I will have something at the back so that it doesn't undo itself, so that should be fine. So this isn't my first time cross-stitching. I've made some smaller projects before. I remember my first one was a Winnie the Pooh, one of those for kiddos that you have the design printed on a canvas already. My parents still have it somewhere, I think. Another thing I've made was a bookmark for my Polish teacher that I gave to her when I was graduating. And I mean Polish, that she taught me Polish language, not that she was Polish, obviously. But that bookmark was much smaller than this one though, and I had a bigger canvas, as in the spaces where you make the X's were bigger. Okay, so it's been over an hour and this is what I have. I guess I didn't realize how many stitches I have to make, but from now on I'll probably do most of it in my own time, not on camera, because if I wanted to sit here at my desk, my back would snap and this would just take me forever, especially since the sunset is at like 4 p.m. It's already setting. I'll obviously still do parts of it on camera for a time lapse and you'll see most of the process. But I just want to do some of it on my own time, sitting on a couch and not here at the desk. Because like I said, I would have to stop doing it already and it's only 4:30. So yeah, see you a little bit later. Yeah, so obviously I didn't take into account how long this would take, but that's okay. I really didn't feel the need to record absolutely everything, though I'm sure it would look cool sped up if I did everything. So this is what I've done so far, and this has taken me like day and a half of work, but I feel like this is the biggest like chunk of one color, so I'm happy that I have that out of the way at least. I also had to cut my nails because I feel like they were getting in the way, and now I think I'm working faster, but I honestly don't have any way of proving that, so I don't know, maybe I'm just making stuff up. But yeah, here is what I've done so far. Way more to go. Anyway, I don't even know if this is the correct way to make the stitches, but what I did here was I made a row of half stitches and then I went back and finished the other half. And with the tail I did a similar thing, but I did the outline first and then filled the inside, and that was easier than counting stitches in every row. I still made some mistakes, even though I tried to be cautious, and that's one downside to this method that I'm using. If I realized I made a mistake too late, I would have to undo much more than I would if I was doing full X's one by one, I think. Though I guess that will also depend on when I realize I made that mistake. But really, what counts as a mistake in a project like this? If I did the pixel art slightly different, perhaps that extra stitch wouldn't be a mistake anymore. So I embraced those mistakes in quotation marks and just adjusted other nearby stitches if I thought that would look better. Of course, unless it was actually a mistake, meaning I went out of the lines of either the cut or the background shapes. I think messing up the background shapes would be even worse because they're supposed to be even and symmetrical, so in that case a mistake would actually be a mistake. After doing the lightest color on the cat, I wanted to continue with the darker shades, but I tried all the grays that I had in one spot and they turned out way too dark. And for that, I have to thank a certain craft store for messing up my order, as well as the clients just putting the colors in wrong places. I mean, seriously, how hard is it to just put the floss in a spot with the same number? Anyway, so while waiting for when I could go and buy the needed color, I started doing the green background. And while my pattern says there are actually more stitches of the green than the light gray of the cat, it actually felt like it was coming together faster. I don't know if that was just the power of suggestion because I thought there was less, so it felt quicker, or I was just working faster because I got used to doing the crosses, or something else. The amount of the green floss that I have left doesn't align with the supposed amount of the stitches, but then I did learn how to use an optimal amount of the thread, so that's also not very reliable. This red looks much darker here than I expected, but maybe if I fill in the background with the darker green, it will not look as strong. Or even if it does still look very dark, I think it will look nice as like a strong color accent. I like that it's actually starting to look like something, and the places that are mostly fully done have a nice texture. I really like it. Oh, also, going back to the needle, I really don't know how it compares to an embroidery needle, but I didn't mind working with a sharp one, except maybe getting stabbed in my finger all the time and catching the canvas's threads. That wasn't very nice, but really, other than that, it was okay. I honestly don't know if there are any reasons to use one over the other than just preference. Okay, we're getting really close to being done. I think the only things that are left are the leaves here and at the bottom. Oh, and the stems. And then the background, and I know that I have to fill in this place. I didn't forget about it. It's just that my thread finished and I didn't want to start a new one just for that one part. So I will wait until I'm actually doing the other backgrounds, like here and again at the bottom. And then after I have that done, I will come back to the cat's eyes. And after that, I will only have the outline left. But for now, I'm really enjoying the process. In the beginning, when I realized how small all the stitches are and just how much work I will have to do, I got a little overwhelmed. But I got over that now, and again, I'm just enjoying it. It's really calming. I think it's the repetitive movement for me, and just seeing how it all comes together, stitch by stitch. It's a really nice feeling. And I was really excited to do the outlines, as I feel like it makes the piece come together. Because right now it just looks a bit flat. As in, the colors are too similar, I guess, or maybe it's just because there's that white space between them. On the pixel art, it doesn't look flat, so I am assuming it's just the white spaces. And one thing that I'm not very happy about how it came out are the tiny flowers, the ones in the background. I feel like there's too many of them and they look too much scattered around, as opposed to these little clusters that I did in the painted bookmark. I don't know why I didn't see it when I was preparing the pixel art, but I guess it's not too bad overall. And another thing I'm a bit upset about is one spot on the cat's left leg. I missed some of the dark lines, and when I was doing the lines on other parts of the cat, I thought I used up exactly the amount of the floss that I needed, and now I have to cut up a whole piece of new thread just to cover it out, like 5 stitches. It's not that big of a deal because I'll probably have to use this color for another bookmark. It's just I was really excited that I cut an exact amount, and then it's not exact. Also, in the beginning, I was planning to embroider the background with white floss as well, but as I was getting closer and closer to the end, I decided not to do that, seeing how many more stitches I would have to still make. Though I must say, when I was doing the outlines around the green panels, I considered it again, because I thought it might be too close to each other and you wouldn't be able to see the space between them. But then I decided that wouldn't be worth it, and it actually looks fine. Alright, he is done. I decided that I won't outline all the leaves and the flowers. I think it looks good like that. I only did the petals here and the face, obviously. And now the only thing that is left is to glue it. And I think this is the scariest part because I can just ruin everything. I did like a 2-minute research and I read that people use a double-sided tape rather than glue. So I will do just that, and that definitely sounds less scary. Ooh, I almost forgot. I wanted to show you the back side of it. And it looks like a mess. But that's okay, and I think my method of just tucking the ends with my active strand and not making knots was a good idea, because I wouldn't want to make all of these knots every time that I'm changing a thread. Okay, fitting. Okay, I think this is fine in terms of placement. Okay, so what I am doing right now is I am sticking those edges at the back. And after I do that, I will put another piece of paper at the top to cover the edges and to just make it a little sturdier. And then I might actually use the glue, because one, it's not actually touching the bookmark, and two, I believe the glue would be better than just the double-sided tape, because it doesn't seem very sturdy, like not enough so that it can be used as an actual bookmark. Just don't get ideas from me. For all I know, I can be doing it all wrong. So this isn't fully dry, but that's fine. He's practically ready. And I must say, I really like how it came out. All these hours were certainly worth it. And I thought it would be bigger, but it's more or less the same size as the painted bookmark. It's only a little longer, but that is fine. But what do you think? Do you like it? Do you prefer the painted one or the embroidered one? Let me know in the comments, and if you like this video, please consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!